Can you hear me, ma'am? Good evening, classmate. Okay, ma'am, and our classmate. Tonight, I'm going to present to you the research, the research. It's entitled "Giving Students Mathematics Rich, Fast, and its Effect on Student Perception Towards Mathematics." The purpose of this paper was to explore whether giving the students a choice of mathematically based tests in fact were very interest to learn. According to research, allowing students more ownership in their learning increases their information in that subject. The study took place in a 10th grade classroom comprised of 40 students upon noticing a high level of student disengagement during math. Instruction was changed from a traditional two-class approach to a task approach using math stations or groupings and differentiated instruction. The result of this study support the idea that the students prefer math workshop to a traditional instructional approach, and their motivation to learn increased when this approach was used in some math. So in other words, this is uh, a sort of transition from that traditional instruction to a rich test, or what we call a math station. And for the introduction of this research, after school began, my students began to exhibit a wide range of mathematical abilities in my 10th grade. Some students abilities starting to understand the new math concept being taught, while others were buried and disengaged. It seems that students are used to the traditional approach wherein they cannot really understand or comprehend the teacher if that is the usual um, scenario in a reserved classroom. It seemed that the students were unmotivated to learn in the whole class setting with effect on student learning. So the students' learning and behavior issues seem to get worse as the learning progressed through first quarter of um, the school year. With that, 7 weeks into school, instruction was changed from a whole class approach to a math learning activities approach in an attempt to provide students with the differentiation needed to address the wide range of student ability in the classroom. So, um, in the review, literature review, and abuse the word, the terms, differentiated instruction, and of course, mathematically risk tasks. So to provide students with the differentiation needed to address the wide range of student ability in the classroom. Yet we are charged with helping all of our students understand the same set of standards. And this time, coaching rich class is a powerful way for providing unique learners appropriate access to same mathematics. They had mathematical stats. They allow a range of learners to successfully attempt and solve the problem. That is because a rich class does not depend on one solution, but rather several. Maybe there is only one answer, but the solution paths that lead to the answers are many. While one student is able to provide a single answer, another student who is ready for a greater challenge can consider. Here comes the identified keyword in my research. So this is the rich class, and another is the differentiation or differentiated instruction. I'm going to use this term for my research for us to be able to understand what is really the research is all about. So rich class is having range and characteristics that together offer different opportunities to meet the different needs of learners at different times. What is apparent to me is that much of what it takes to make rich task rich is the environment in which is presented, which includes support and questioning that is used by the teacher and the role that learners are encouraged to adapt. That is, environment in which learners are not passive recipients of knowledge, accepting what is given, but independent assertive construction of their own understanding from challenge and supply. And another term used was differentiation in our differentiated instructions has become the instructional powerhouse that helps move all students toward worthy outcomes. Small group work allows the teachers to offer direct instruction, support, and specifically target instruction to meet the students' needs and abilities. While the execution of math workshop varies among classrooms, the approach is founded in the idea that teachers provide small groups of students with direct and differentiated instruction. So that were the concepts used in my research. I'm going to present to you the statement of the problem. So the purpose of this study was to explore whether I could increase students' motivation by offering them the freedom to choose which math stations they participated in the research questions that guided the study were. Number one, which method of instruction do students prefer, traditional or mixed class? Number two, if students were able to choose which station to visit and which class, which stations will they choose? And then number three, would having more choice in learning encourage students more learn math? And to answer the questions, methodology. We were now in the methodology part. We're in what are the methods or the data used to present or to answer the questions posted on the statement of the problem, the statement of uh, related to research. This study was conducted using a mixed methods approach. I'm going to use qualitative and quantitative data. So qualitative data was collected concerning student opinion about whether or not which types of approach is more motivating than traditional. And then another one is quantitative. Quantitative data that also collected um, was collected concerning students. That is number two. Uh, Data collection is qualitative data was collected concerning student opinion about whether or not which types of approach is more motivating than traditional full classroom session. Data was collected by observational notes and transcribed interviews with students. In other words, I just conducted a survey questionnaires to be answered by the different students. It will also gain insight as to whether or not there is a relationship between motivation and learning. Data will be used to guide instructional strategies to fill those voids. And then I'm going to present also this actually in the month that it's tasks, how was this test conducted? I used the four stations. The first picture is the teacher-led station. The second group is the journal, and then the third one is the matte, and the last station, the fact station. In the class, the teachers present a 15 to 20-minute mini lesson to their class, and then the class breaks into small groups to do collaborative work. Students rotate among the stations or the groupings for the remainder of the week's class time. When students are not working directly with the teacher in a small group, they rotate among several other learning stations in other predetermined groups. In other words, they have the freedom to choose which group or stations they're going to go. Then these stations typically include a math game designed to give students an opportunity to practice the skills or newly learn skills with a partner. An activity intended to help students memorize basic maths concept and words. So it is really uh, amazing to see those students that they're looking for the group that will cater their uh, activities they want to um, perform in the four stations. So although we can avoid that there will be some intensive behavior, manageable pa din. I'm going to present to you the results indicate incorporating innovations in the math stations can be highly interesting to students. Most students prefer the workshop approach because they feel more comfortable asking for assistance and participating in the group. This is especially true for students who struggle with math concepts. By the way, um, I this one. There were five questions. Table 1, the student enters survey. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 6 questions asked to the students, and they just have to answer yes, I agree, and I kind of agree, and I disagree. So, like the first question, I like math as a whole class, and then I like learning math in a small group. I feel confident raising my hand and asking questions when Miss Santarasa teaches the whole class at the time. I feel confident when Miss Santarasa teaches in small group. I feel like I learn when listeners teaches the whole class at a time. And I feel like learn when Miss Mendoza teaches me. So basically, it is really um, showcase or it's really on the table that the outcome of the survey really um, comfortable asking for assistance and participate in the group if they are going to use that which tasks. For the second question, I sought to answer was which station was the favorite among students. Okay, so basically, I conducted the which tasks, the math station of my workshops for 4 days because on day 5, which is Friday, we have our formative tests. The journal station, the game station, and the math station. So it's really obvious that the game station is um, really preferred by the students. So although the game station was the overwhelming favorite among the 10th graders. In my previous years as a teacher in the lower grade level, I always use the lesson, I always use game in my class to motivate my students to learn from that. And of course, uh, they saw that the game is really one activity that the students gain insight what really is math. On the third question posted on the statement problem. I have four questions and then actually I interviewed six students, uh, students from struggling students consider I think I call them as struggling students because they are not really into math. Two students on the average level, and then another two students on talented students. So my first question, recitation indices do you like this? Actually, I have named them as Alex, John Robert, Christine, Angelica, Kate, and Kathleen. They are on my advisory class in grade 10. So those are the word answers. We have education stations, which is just because of the has good healthy in the test. And then number three question, do you like working independently or with a partner? So some of them answers they like working with a partner. I have those very two students answer that they just have to work on their own. So I don't like to work with others. And that is the typical answer, the typical reaction of a student if they cannot really understand or do not have that um, perception to right now. So this is it. My conclusion after data collection, I determined that my students were encouraged to learn from my subject. Their perceptions toward math become more evident since they were given the freedom to choose while learning activities is more appropriate to their needs and abilities. Students feel more confident because they have an opportunity to work directly with the teacher, and overall, we enjoy playing math games with the parent and feel the benefits of learning from the others. So that's all, ma'am. Good evening, and thank you po, my dear classmate and my dear class.